Hey everybody, welcome to the Change the World Marketing Tuesday Facebook Live. And my topic for today is how to attract engagement with a series. And by a series, I mean a series of blog posts, a series of emails, or a series of social media posts. So what you do is it's similar to a campaign. You may be familiar with the idea of an email campaign or a social media campaign, but it's not really a campaign, it's just a series of things. What you really do is you take your topic and you divide it up into pieces and then you number them. And so what that does is that people want to see what's next. And you announce it in advance. You say, I'm going to have a 4-part series on something or other. So, for example, I'm going to do a blog post on my other website, 4 techniques to help people understand what you're saying better when you're doing a talk. I'm sure I'll have a better title than that. But there'll be these 4 techniques, and so it'll be technique 1, and then technique 2, and technique 3. Each one will be a separate blog post. Now, you could put those in the same blog post. And it also helps when blog posts that have numbered items are actually more often liked and shared and clicked on. It's a study that did that, and if you have pictures next to this, like a list. Lists are very popular, but you can get people's attention over a longer period of time by separating them up into separate blog posts. And so the same thing applies with email. And with email, it's really kind of neat because you put that number in your subject line. So, for example, you're doing a series of Black Friday promotions, and so day 1 is in the subject line. Day 1 of my Black Friday promotions, day 2, day 3, day 4. And so people are almost compelled to open it up and see what's in day 4, what is in here. So it's just a very powerful technique. You usually announce it in advance. So you want people to start with number 1. So the day before you say, I'm going to have, let's say, 8 emails, because usually people start Black Friday like pretty far before it and go the Monday after, which is Cyber Monday, and then Giving Tuesday. So there's several days involved, So the point is to tell people in advance, I'm going to have, 5 days of promotions, and then starting tomorrow, and then the next day is day 1, and then the next day is day 2, and so on like that. So it's a very powerful technique using numbers, and you could do parts if you want. You could say part 1, part 2, but again, it's still numbers. You can call them anything that you want. It could be day 1, part 1, section 1, whatever it is. This reminds me of what Charles Dickens did, how he published most of his books that we read now as books, but they were originally published in England in a newspaper over time, in different editions of the newspaper. And so people would go and get the newspaper to see what was the next story. And so again, you can do a little bit with anticipation. At the end, it's nice if you have some kind of surprise, and if you summarize them at the end is a nice thing to do as well. So it's easy for people to see it all in one place. You want people to get it all, but you also want people to, you don't want them to get it all at the same time until they've gone through that whole process. So, and you can do it in social media as well. So I've been talking about blog posts and I've been talking about emails, but you can do it with social media. So you can say something like, you could just do the same thing that you're doing in email. You could say, here are my 5 days of Black Friday promotions. Here's day 1, here's day 2, and so on like that. So whatever anytime that you plan something a little bit in advance and put it together as a kind of campaign, but when you number it and then tell people in advance that you're going to have all of these things, you'll get a lot more engagement. People will feel compelled to look for it, open it, and so on like that. And you can do this, you don't have to do it for Black Friday, you could do it for almost any topic. Like I mentioned, this topic about 4 techniques for speaking. It could be absolutely anything. And so just think of some concept that you might want to write a blog post about, And instead of doing it all in one blog post, which, there's a value to having this big, huge blog post with a lot of information in it. It might get more traffic, people searching for it. But there's also this value of stringing people out a little bit and getting them engaged over a period of time. And one of the things that's so special about it is that once you get these people engaged, there's some of that engagement will last after this little campaign that you've done. So you're bringing some more people in with something very tempting, and then it ups the level of engagement. So I would recommend doing this several times a year and see what results you get. Let me know if you have any questions.